What's going on, everybody? Going Yooper here. Today we're going to talk about introducing people to snakes. I just love that train. Let's get started. What's going on, everybody? Going Yooper here. And today I just want to talk to you a little bit about introducing people to snakes. Some people just have a deep fear of snakes, and that's understandable. When you don't know about something and you don't know their ways and how they do things and what the reactions actually mean, you can be afraid of them. I was that way with spiders for a long time until I kind of learned about them, and I realized, oh wow, so a spider's not just going to come after me. That's not in its nature to do so. If a spider's going to come at me, it's because I put myself in that position. So it's learning about putting yourself in the right position when you're in an environment around snakes or spiders. When introducing a snake to somebody that is maybe afraid of snakes or has a fear of snakes, you want to go real slow, baby steps. You don't want to pressure them at all. You first want to introduce them to the snake by showing them in their enclosure and not taking them out of the enclosure, just showing them in the enclosure so that they can see them and they can see their movements and see what their reactions are like. After they're kind of okay with that, you want to take it out yourself and just hold it yourself, and then they can see how the snake's reacting to you and that it's not being aggressive to you. So, you know, it gives them a better understanding. Like, okay, so when you touch a snake, it doesn't automatically just start biting and attacking you, you know, because when you're afraid of something, that's what you see. You see, oh my God, it's going to kill me, you know. So you just want to take it real slow, and then maybe after they're comfortable with you holding it, maybe they would like to, you know, just touch it with their hands, you know, while you're holding it. A lot of people think snakes are slimy, and they're just not. Just the other day I had a group of ladies in here to check out the snakes, and they've never held a snake or did anything like that, and when they first touched it, they were like, oh wow, it isn't slimy, and you know, it kind of feels neat. And yes, snakes aren't slimy, surprise. After they're comfortable with touching it and noticing that it isn't turning around and rearing up and biting them or anything, you know, maybe they might be a little bit more comfortable about holding a snake. You don't want to take a snake that might be one of your more aggressive snakes to do this. That's why I have my awesome little spinner bobblehead. Let me get him. Alright, so I got my little wobblehead here. He's a spinner, spider pinstripe mix. He is my ambassador snake. He is, a lot of you have already seen this snake before. He is the most friendly snake there is. Now, snakes don't necessarily have emotions. They're not going to love you or hate you or any of that stuff. It's all instinct, and some snakes are just better than others. Like this guy is very comfortable being held and has no problem exploring. There's his little wobbliness going on, and he has no problem exploring and everything. And this guy's so cool that I literally can grab his head. You know, people get a kick out of that, and he doesn't mind. I mean, he would talk about not being head shy at all. This guy is just the best. He really is. He's such a good snake. But that's why I use him as my ambassador snake. This is the snake that I use when somebody is deathly afraid of snakes. And I use him because he's just so tolerant. And that's pretty much the best word. It's not, you know, I say he loves me, this and that, but he truly doesn't even know what love really is. You know, doesn't matter. He's just very tolerant. And a lot of snakes won't let you do this with their head. He doesn't mind. He tolerates me. He doesn't care. He's just not a spooked snake. He's held often. And that's why I use this guy a lot as my introducing you to snake, because he's just so cool like that. And I've used this snake in many instances where people were deathly afraid of snakes. My oldest son's girlfriend, very afraid of snakes. And this is the first snake that she got to actually hang out with and get to know. And she could learn its movements and that, you know, okay, it's not aggressive. He's not trying to bite me. He's just flickering his tongue, all happy. You know, it's another good sign. He's just flickering his tongue, and he's all happy, and that's why I use him. Now, I have a couple ball pythons that are a little bit more intolerant to you. You know what I mean? That they're not bitey. They haven't bit me at all ever. But like my full-grown Mojave, you know, he doesn't like to be handled as much as some of my other snakes. And you're just going to find that in no matter what species you work with. Oh, it must be noon. Yep, it's noon, so the sirens go off. It's so cool. I haven't heard that in years since we've left Florida. But so you just want to take your time. You just want to take your time with people that don't know snakes. And if you have a snake that's a lot more tolerant than others, that's a good one to use to start with. And you never want to pressure them. If they come by the first time and they're just fine with seeing them in their enclosure and not messing with them, no problem. Maybe down the road, a few days later, a week or two later, they might want to take another step, and that you hold it, and so they can see how it reacts with you. And then a few days later, or maybe even that same day, they might be tempted enough to go ahead and touch it and feel it. And snakes feel really neat. They are definitely not slimy yet again. I say that again. And they're such neat creatures. And I've had the honor of being able to do an awesome demonstration, which is on my channel. I'll put a link in the above for you to check out if you haven't seen it yet. And it was a blast. And it started out where people were kind of afraid of snakes, and by the end of it, you seen 40, 50 kids all holding the snakes and having them on them and taking pictures with them so their parents can put it on the Facebook. And it was just such an amazing time. So if you ever have the chance to do a demonstration, do it. I know Bill from BC Pythons. I love this guy. Go check his channel out. I'll put a link below. He's going to do a demonstration here pretty soon at the 4-H. And what a great organization to work with. That's awesome. So congratulations, Bill. I hope you have an amazing time. I know you will. Probably the highlight of my ball python, hobby has been doing the demonstrations. Pretty soon I'm going to go set it up over at the school. I'll probably go over there and talk to them tomorrow to find out if that's possible, if that's okay. And I think I'll start out with my nephews and my son's class first, and see how it goes. They might want to set it up so the whole elementary school comes and watches. I don't know. And it's also a good way to get over your fear of talking and speaking in front of crowds. I actually never really had that problem. Up until it was time to do it, though. I remember just a couple seconds before, I was like, okay, I was all ready, and then I sat back for a half a second and realized, okay, I'm going to be talking in front of these 70, 80 people here. It was a little intimidating at first, but, I just started going, and the response you get from children especially is just amazing. So when you're introducing snakes to people, just take it slow. Go on their pace. Don't force it, because the worst thing you can do for our hobby is to force somebody into seeing snakes, because some people are just not going to want to touch a snake. No matter how much you show them that they're not aggressive and you go through all the steps, some people are just not going to want to do that, and that's okay. There's no problem with that. But as long as they can see that these snakes aren't aggressive and they're not trying to hurt you, and that you care for them, and that they tolerate you. Boxing Boy said it best, where snakes don't truly have feelings like that. They really work off of instinct, And this guy knows that I'm not going to hurt him. See? He just doesn't care. He knows that I'm not going to hurt him. So he tolerates me because he's like, oh, well, this guy's just a jungle gym. That's really what he looks at me as, just something to climb around and explore. And he has a really severe wobble, as you all can see, him going to town there in his little corkscrew. Really bad wobble. And I choose not to breed him because of that wobble. And that's just personal choice. I'm not saying if you breed a snake with a wobble that's bad, good, or anything. I just choose not to. I have other spider genes that I can do breeding with that don't show real bad signs of wobble. Now, I'm one of the people that believe that all spider genes actually have the wobble. I know I hear some people say that, oh, well, mine don't have the wobble. It probably does. And in my opinion, from what I've noticed, I think all spider genes actually carry the wobble. Some are just more severe than others. Some are so insignificant that you don't even notice it and that you might not see it. But I do believe they all carry it in a slight form, one way or another, or in a really bad form like this guy's really bad. But as you can see, wobble gene doesn't mean it's a bad snake. I mean, look at how awesome this guy is. You know what I mean? So I actually got this guy by mistake. I've said this before. I won Always Evolving Python's 200 subscriber giveaway, and I was actually supposed to get an orange belly, and it got mixed up in shipping, and he sent me the spinner instead. And I was like, you know what, I don't want to reship a snake out because it's a lot of stress on a snake, so I'll just go ahead and keep him if the other person's okay with keeping the orange belly, which they were. And that's what happened, and I'm so glad I did, because this guy's become my good friend. I'm his good friend. He could care less about me. He just likes to climb around on me. But yeah, so please, if you're introducing people to snakes, take your time. If you bring these things out to a park or a public area, the last thing you want to do is scare somebody. So if you see somebody that's afraid of snakes, don't go walking up to them with it. Don't be chasing them around. I see some people every now and then try and scare somebody with a snake. And that's not really the message that we want to get across, you know what I mean? So just take your time. It's totally okay to go out in public with a snake and introduce your snakes to people. I'm not saying that. Just be very careful and wary about people that might be afraid of them, and never force somebody to do something that they don't want to do. Sorry. That's the worst thing you could possibly do. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. I want to thank you all so much for all the amazing comments that you leave all the time. I mean, you know, I can't think of a better community. I truly can't. You guys are awesome, very understanding, and very caring. And I appreciate you all very much. So if you like this video, hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, share this with your friends, hit the notification bell, let you know when I upload a video. And as always, I love you all. See me bye.